Whirling Dervish ceremonies were started as a form of meditation by Jalaluddin Rumi, the famous Sufi Muslim mystic and poet in the 13th century. The Persia-born Rumi, who was living in Konya, then the capital of the Turkish Seljuk Empire, told his followers, "There are many roads which lead to God. I have chosen the one of dance and music." He would fast, meditate, and then dance to reach a state of unparalleled enlightenment. Inspired, other sects started to spread his dance, called the Sema. Throughout the Ottoman Empire, the most renowned sect was the Mevlevi order. Dance participants were called Semazen. By the 15th century, the order had established rules for the ritual to maintain its myriad traditions. Dancers wear long white robes with full skirts, which symbolize the shrouds of their egos. Art historian Nurhan Atasoy of the Turkish Cultural Foundation wrote in Dervish Seizi, her book on dervish clothing. On the dancers' heads sit tall, conical felt hats called sikke, ranging from brown to gray to black, depending on their sect. These represent the tombstones of their egos. Over the robes, the dancers wear long dark cloaks, which embody the wearers' worldly life and are cast off during the ceremony. When the dancer is finally wearing only his long white robe, he is assumed to be without fault and ready to start the mesmerizing complex whirls that defined the Sema. The dancers, who fast for many hours before the ceremony, start to turn in rhythmic patterns, using the left foot to propel their bodies around the right foot, with their eyes open but focused. Their whirling is fueled by accompanying music, which consists of a singer, a flute player, a kettle drummer, and a cymbal player. As the dancers turn, the skirts of their robes rise, becoming circular cones, as if standing in the air on their own volition. A team of researchers found that the edges of spinning skirts experience accelerations of about 4 times Earth's gravity, reporting that the skirts carry cusp wave patterns which seem to defy gravity and common sense. In 1925, Mustafa Kemal, Turkey's first president, closed all the doors and hermitages as part of his secularization policies. For decades, the dervishes had to retreat underground. In 1956, even though legislation still outlawed these Sufi sects, the Turkish government revived the Whirling Dervish ceremony as a cultural asset. Dancers began to perform on the anniversary of the death of Rumi, a tradition that has led to an annual 9-day December festival in Konya. During this period, Turkish dervishes worked to spread the dance outside their country to preserve the pure Sema traditions. From 10th December for 6 days, the mysterious and world-renowned Whirling Dervishes will take center stage at the Konya Mevlana Cultural Center and perform their Sema dance on the evening of each day. Watching the Mevlana performance is one of the main reasons that people visit Konya. So, here is a virtual glimpse into what to expect from this once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. The Mevlana performance, the dance when performed, is split into 7 different parts. The ritual begins with a nath, exalting Prophet Muhammad, who represents divine love. Afterwards, part 2 continues the same exalting as in the first one, but also in this section, the sound of the special dervish drum, called a kuthum, starts to echo through the hall. When all of the exalting has stopped, the third part begins with the haunting sound of a special reed flute, which is called a ney. The ney is meant to represent the breath of God. The fourth section is when the dervishes, led by the master, walk out in a circle and give a greeting to their friends. They do this 3 times. In the fifth part, there are many salams, a special prayer said by the dervishes. Each salam has its own different meaning. The first is the human perception of his own service and of his glorious creator. The second is a human being's total amazement in the presence of Allah's power. The third is a human sacrificing his mind to love and all of his feelings to love. This is said to be your way of surrendering to Allah and becoming part of Him. The last salam is the completion of this spiritual journey. All participants take part in the turning of the salam. At this point, they are both overjoyed, having faith in the prophets, books, the Quran, the Torah, the angels, and Allah. The Sema. After some more reading from the Quran, the dancing begins. After receiving permission from the eldest son of the master by kissing him on the hand, the dervishes dropped their large black hirka, a long heavy black coat, representing their deliverance from worldly attachments. Now, with their black robes removed, a long white robe is revealed. The start of the performance. With their right arms extended reaching up towards the heavens and their left arm pointing to the ground, grace from above is received from Allah and is distributed to humanity. The dancers gracefully spin, and in unison, all the dervishes eventually start spinning together, creating a hypnotic and mesmerizing constellation. Walking among them, the master checks to see if the dervishes are doing the performance correctly. The dance is repeated over 5 10-minute sessions and finishes with the Hafiz, a scholar who remembers the whole Quran through memory, chants passages from the Quran, thus completing the spectacular ritual. The performance takes place every Saturday throughout the year. From the 10th to 17th of December each year, there's a performance each evening in remembrance of Jalal al-Din Rumi, renowned Afghan philosopher and poet who created the dance. The Order of the Mevlevi. When Rumi died on the 17th of December 1273, his son organized his followers into the brotherhood called the Mevlevi, or Whirling Dervishes. In the centuries that followed, hundreds of schools were set up to teach the dance, but ultimately, the teachings of Rumi and his ideology started to influence the country's political, economic, and social life. So in 1925, Ataturk banned them as he considered them an obstacle to the country's advancement. They were revived in 1957. However, and the Mevlana are now so popular that in 2017, the Mevlana Museum was noted as Turkey's most visited museum. There is evidence in all walks of social media posted by people from all over the world that Rumi's verse and poetry are still celebrated and followed today. Where to get your tickets? Tickets for the performances from the 10th to the 17th of December can be pre-ordered or bought at the door. Usually, the performance will begin at 7 p.m., so to guarantee a seat, it's advisable to arrive at the Culture Center by 6:30 p.m. There are sale-up sellers outside the center and traditional crafts and Mevlana souvenirs for sale at small stalls inside, and the area has a really wintry seasonal feel. Getting there. Konya can be reached from Fethiye by car in under 7 hours. Buses also operate regularly to Ankara, where a connection can be caught to Konya. You can also fly to Istanbul or Ankara and catch a connecting flight or travel by train to Konya. If you enjoyed the content, uplift the channel by hitting like, subscribe, and ring the YouTube bell to meet us again in the next video. Until next time.